Pittsburgh legend.
Well, Paul, it was just last month that Tony Johnson used the ropes to defeat Brandon Kay. Certainly a tainted victory, but a victory that he's been very vocal about, to say the least. As we said in the opening, not only is this a rematch from the very first RYSE event, it's a rematch from the very first official contest ever held on a RYSE card. So certainly things coming full circle here, as both of these athletes have evolved and gotten better each and every time they step foot inside the squared circle.
Oh, there's no denying that Tony Johnson is a world-class athlete, as is Lee Moriarty.
Tony using that height advantage to get some leverage on the shoulder tackle. Tony rolls through. Lucha pass. Lee hooks the legs. Shoulders down. Poetry in motion here, Paul.
Oh, without a doubt. Lee Moriarty has trained all over the country. He's trained internationally. We've touched on this many times before. It's not going to be long before you see this guy on some major stage somewhere.
Leg sweep. Johnson returns the favor. And these two know each other very, very well.
That they do, that they do. And you know, for the little bit of time that Lee Moriarty has been in this business, he is a student of the game, constantly working to perfect his craft.
You know, we've talked about it previously. The Iceman has really found himself as a member of the main event. His confidence has grown leaps and bounds throughout his time here at RYSE.
Oh, without a doubt it has. Tony Johnson was always a very fierce competitor, but since finding his path along with the main event, he's gotten not just that much more vicious as well as a competitor.
I may not agree with his tactics, but as far as results go, Johnson has reached an entirely new level here in 2019. Look out here. Arm drag off the ropes. Beautifully done.
Beautifully executed.
What a transition into the missile drop kick. Right to the temple. Lateral press. Seamless transitions from the Tiger style athlete.
There are very, very few deficiencies in Lee Moriarty's game, that's for sure.
And now Johnson is quite literally on the ropes. Lee charges, runs into a boot. Johnson telegraphed it. We saw it coming. And the Black Dragon stays one step ahead. Shoulders down.
A bit of a hog tie now of Tony Johnson.
Yeah, paradise lock.
And Lee takes a seat.
And the apex of combat. A lot of mental warfare
Without a doubt.
here from Moriarty.
He also definitely has the sellout crowd at the Stronghold well behind him.
And a kick to the hamstring may end this night for Johnson very quickly.
He embarrassed me. I'm not going back in there. Bring it in. Come on. I'm not going in. He embarrassed me. Bring it in. Come on.
Oh, look out. We didn't see Johnson.
Oh, there he goes. He set him up on that one.
And we went face first into the edge of the apron.
Come on, gentlemen. Let's go.
And just like that quick, the complexion of this matchup changing immediately.
That's where that killer instinct that Tony Johnson's got since joining the main event comes into play.
Stiff European uppercut. You can hear the contact.
Come on, Iceman. 6. I got a match to win.
Johnson following Lee in.
Yeah, Lee could have crushed his windpipe hitting that outside there.
Oh, man. You can hear the contact, but Johnson just buried a knee into the midsection.
Right now, he's one step ahead of Lee Moriarty, and that's not an easy task.
We're seeing the human chess match play out here inside the squared circle. You can see Johnson trying to drive all the air out of Lee Moriarty, trying to limit the wind for the Tiger-style athlete.
Moriarty, I believe, has had rib injuries in the past.
Keep off the ropes, Tony. Let's go.
And if you can't breathe, you can't fight, folks.
That's true. And like I said, Lee has had several rib injuries in his short career, so Tony Johnson's taking advantage of that right now.
5 minutes gone by, 5 minutes.
And Paul, you can speak to this. I mean, you spent 25 years in the ring. Cardio is absolutely necessary to be successful during a contest.
It most definitely is, and not just your traditional cardio of running.
Wait a minute here. 2.5.
That was close. Yes, it was. Not your traditional style cardio of, running a treadmill. You can run a treadmill for an hour or 2 hours at a time, but unless you have ring conditioning, you are not going to make it far in this business. And if somebody takes that ring conditioning away from you, it makes it harder and harder to fight.
Flesh on flesh right there. And this one breaking down here. It's becoming a slugfest.
That it is, but with each crack to the chest, with each punch to the ribs, Lee is losing more and more the ability to draw a breath.
Lee dropping those 6 to 12 elbows. Trying to extricate himself, but again,
And if
landing.
you notice, there was not as much effectiveness to those elbows as there were earlier in the match, and that tends to speak to the fact that the breathing capability, being able to draw breath, the more Tony Johnson pummels those lungs, the harder it is for Lee to catch him with a strike.
And Johnson still so smug, still so arrogant, still so cocky. But you can't sleep on the Black Dragon.
Oh no, you don't want to get too overconfident. Lee is down a lot, but he's never out. This man will fight tooth and nail for every victory.
Cover here, hooks the leg. Paul, if you can, speak to how important it is to make sure you hook that leg. How much added leverage that brings a competitor.
Well, not only hooking the leg, but if you notice when Tony Johnson hooks the leg, he also rolls the lower abdomen up into the chest area. Again, compressing the lungs, making it harder and harder for Lee to breathe.
And look at this, a body lock with a bridge. I've never seen this before. What innovative offense by the Iceman.
Squeezing tighter and tighter around that diaphragm and rib area.
A body lock, so elementary but so effective. Lee trying to throw some shots here. Desperation time for Moriarty. Off the ropes. Tilt-a-whirl desperation maneuver.
I don't know if he caught him with all of it, though.
Lee just trying to get some separation here, a real sense of urgency from Moriarty. Not a position we're used to seeing him in. It's been a real long time since we've seen Moriarty in quite this much jeopardy as Johnson going for the cover, and that may have been just coincidental.
I think so. I mean, I'd like to think that Lee knows where he's at every moment in that ring, but I don't know if he realized he was that close to the ropes there.
Very wise. Johnson gets Moriarty away from the ropes, and if nothing else, forces Moriarty to exert the energy to kick out. And as I said, if you needed any more evidence to the skills of Tony Johnson, he has one of the best athletes we've ever seen inside the stronghold in real jeopardy here.
There's no doubt about the fact that Tony Johnson is a fine athlete. Calling himself a local Pittsburgh legend, I don't know, but he's definitely a fine athlete.
It's not often we see Lee in this much trouble. Very few athletes can do this to Lee Moriarty, but Johnson's overconfidence finally catching up with him here, and he ate 2 boots right to the face.
As I said, you don't want to count Lee Moriarty out because he can come back at any given moment. trying to overcome the pain, trying to overcome the lack of oxygen.
Look out!
Big dive to the outside.
Both of these young athletes crashing to the concrete.
And that's it. This is concrete here at the Stronghold. There's no padding out there. You might as well just fall in the street.
We are seeing two young athletes really just entering the prime of their careers, putting it on the line here. Moriarty going to press the advantage. But look at Johnson, extra torque for extra impact on the backbreaker.
This has to be it.
And somehow Moriarty gets the shoulder up.
I don't know where he came up with that. I thought for sure Lee Moriarty was done at that point.
I'm not trying to sell Lee Moriarty short, Paul. You know, I will tell you just how good Lee Moriarty is. But I got to be honest, he sustained punishment for the past several minutes. I'm very surprised after that twisting backbreaker he was able to kick out there.
Oh, you and me both. I've always sung Lee Moriarty's praises, but I don't know if he's going to get out of this one. I have never seen Lee in this much trouble at any given time in his career so far.
And look at Johnson taunting the Black Dragon. And man, Johnson again buries the knee into the breadbasket.
Abdominal stretch.
Yeah, that intercostal cartilage being extended, and this will again have pain surge through the body of Lee Moriarty.
And again, working on Lee Moriarty's wind.
Paul, with as close as this matchup is, you have to think the winner of this matchup could put themselves in contention for a shot at that RYSE Grand Championship.
They will definitely put themselves in contention, but how much is going to be taken out of them?
And now it is Moriarty twisting and contorting the body of the Iceman. Northern Lights with a bridge. And again, Moriarty forced to get the shoulder up, to extricate the energy, to expend the energy, to continue this matchup. And what a matchup it is.
And Lee is showing, without a doubt, he's showing a new level of courageousness.
Matchups like this are really what define RYSE, Paul.
Yes,
two young athletes giving it everything they got.
Without a doubt. Two, I will say it, two of the greatest so far here in RYSE Wrestling ever. We have a former grand champion in Lee Moriarty.
Man, Johnson telegraphed it and got hit with a right hook right to the face. Momentum on the side of Moriarty.
Yeah, he's putting every ounce of his weight into all of those, each and every one of those strikes.
Wait a minute,
Watch
Johnson countered, shoulders down. Double stomp. And Moriarty digging down. This is all guts right here.
Notice Lee has to stop. He has to draw that breath. He can't follow up right away. And that's giving Tony Johnson a chance to get to his feet.
Johnson hanging on for dear life. Johnson puts on the brakes again. He's holding on. Knee strike may have caught Moriarty in the temple that time. Handspring.
Moriarty caught him.
What a physical matchup. Tiger suplex. No! How close was that?
Wait a minute.
What did somebody just... That's
so
Christian Noir. He ran
doing
past us. Noir has been terrorizing this promotion for months.
Let's face it, a lot of the chaos here at RYSE has been happening on behalf of the Grindhouse. So what is what is Christian Noir doing here? Why is Grindhouse getting involved in this match at all?
Johnson lands on his feet. Hooks Moriarty up. Release German.
No.
But Moriarty is He's surging through.
Absolutely no effect on Lee Moriarty. He's digging deep now.
Cover! And now the war's up on the apron. We cannot allow the Grindhouse to ruin this matchup.
Why is he out here?
Security or someone needs to get out here.
He tried for that mist. He tried for that mist, but Moriarty saw it coming.
He's distracted and got knocked inside out. What impact!
And I think that's all Christian Uar wanted, was just to distract Lee Moriarty